Hey there guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Sinners. So this was a movie I was very interested in watching. I mean, I'm sure many of you might have seen the reception it's received from the critics and the audiences. It's been getting well above 90% everywhere, and it's getting a lot of acclaim. So I really feel like going into this movie, I felt like this was a movie that realistically was not going to disappoint. I think if it was ever going to disappoint you, it would be very unlikely. But also, I do like Ryan Coogler's work in some of his movies he's done, like Creed and Black Panther. I really enjoyed them. So I felt like going into Sinners, I was kind of going in with the expectations that I think it would have been a good film. And I can safely say it's very, very good. Now, the impressions that many people have for this movie is the fact that people took the impressions it was a horror vampire movie. Now, I would say a lot of this movie is that. But what I think this movie does very well, it does more than just being a horror vampire film. In fact, I really don't think horror was like the main element of this film. I think it's mostly centers on, as a drama film, but uses like horror elements, which encompasses on the vampires or the supernatural side of things. But I think this movie does very well trying to build that side, but also show another side of this film. So the other side of this movie that you also have, I think, is the main story and the setting of this movie. So the movie centers on two main characters, Smoke and Stack. They are identical twins, and they are both played by Michael B. Jordan. And they return to Mississippi after spending years in Chicago doing work. And they now want to use the money that they used from their work to start a juke joint for the local black community. And upon that, they also have their cousin Sammy, who wants to be a aspiring guitarist. But his father, who works as a pastor in a church, has warned him that playing blues music is going to create some form of supernatural effects. And essentially that's where like the vampires and stuff really kicks in. And I think that's what this movie does very well. It encompasses on the music side of things very well, but also like the supernatural vampire side of things as well. And I don't think it never really felt disconnected in any way. I think they really do mesh it very well. And a lot of the times you would always see like Sammy's music of him playing the guitar and everything, that it always creates like the whole community, like the black community within that joint, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, when people who are not part of the black community, but they also have the supernatural effects of the vampires, which is not always very evident. It's very subtle that they can't notice. Whenever things get involved, or there's like some sort of conflict between them, then all of a sudden potential hell could break loose. And I think it does that very, very well. It shows that side of division as well between sides of characters from race, but also not just race, but also effects of having supernatural powers or being a vampire. But that's kind of the best I could really explain it. I don't really want to kind of, put more in depth of what I've explained, because I really feel like it could just really just spoil the film a little bit. So that's kind of the best I could really put it to you guys. But I also think like the whole cinematography, the visuals, and really the whole direction that this movie had is brilliant. And I think the concept and the ideas that it really came together, I think worked really well. And, watching a movie like this, it feels different. And it's not always like you're always watching something that's always expected to know what's going to happen. And it always likes to try and build up tension. I think this is where I want to get into the horror elements. There are horror elements in this movie, and I think they do them very well. It's not always particularly based on purely just scaring the audience, although potential at times, maybe with the very loud audio or anything that happens in the theater, potentially it can impact a jump scare, but it's not always designed to just really spook you or scare you. It's really just built on suspense. And I think it does that really well. Like the whole direction, the cinematography is brilliant. And really for this movie, you really do feel like you're not purely watching a movie that's just so heavily reliant on CGI, and it feels all natural. And I think it does feel very refreshing to watch. But also other things I also like to say, I also really do like the music that they use in this movie. I mean, it's not a musical, but they use like some sort of musical elements in this movie. Like mostly when you see Sammy playing the guitar in the joint, it looks pretty good. Also, like they use some of the music to kind of set the scenes a little bit, and I feel like that kind of built up a little bit of ambience very well. I also praise the cinematography as well, like the horror element, and also the use of the violence in this movie, like the gore and violence. That was all very well put together and very well shot as well. And lastly, I think the acting performances. I think they were really, really good and really no complaints. I mean, I really liked in particular mostly Michael B. Jordan's dual portrayal of the twin brothers. I thought he did a very good job. But also, I really did like Haley Steinfeld's Miles Catton and also Jack O'Connell's portrayal in their characters. Like, Miles Catton plays as the Sammy. He did a very good job with the role. Haley Steinfeld plays as Mary, who was meant to be Stack's ex-girlfriend. And all of a sudden, she's now come back into his life a little bit. And essentially, she does a very good job playing her role in the movie. And then also, Jack O'Connell plays as like one of the main sort of vampires you would see in the movie, and how it kind of, you know, transcended from that. So I think the whole movie was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't really have any complaints. My only real like nitpick I could really say, I do think the movie is a little bit slow, and it does take time to build up. But I feel like when it kind of gets more closer to near the ending or the act of the film, it kind of fits everything in very well. But yeah, really enjoyed Sinners. Had a good time watching it. If you have watched it, let me know what you think of the movie. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.